We're going to get started. I know people are still joining us, but we're going to start off slowly and we're going to get into our agenda for today. So thank you for joining us. Today's session is AI for small business owners, AI, artificial intelligence, the hottest trend of the past few years. And we're going to see how we can use AI to save you time as business owners, boost some of that creativity, and get more things done. Okay, so my name is Adi, product marketing manager, and we have here Tal, who leads the product marketing team at Taylor Brands.
Hi,
Hi.
everyone.
So we're going to host today's session. So thank you again for joining us. If you haven't written anything in the chat yet, feel free to do so. We always love to see who takes part in these sessions, and it's a great chance for you as well to see other business owners. Maybe some of you live in the same state or are in the same industry. So it's a great way also for some networking. Okay, we're going to launch this poll in just a second. Sorry. Okay. All right. So we want you to answer if you've ever used AI before. There is no right or wrong answer. This is just so we can see who's here with us today. I'm sure a lot of the answers will vary. So it is very interesting for us to see what you all are answering. I'm going to give it a few more seconds. All right. It looks pretty steady.
Nice breakdown.
Yeah, very nice breakdown. All right. I'm going to end the poll so you guys can also see the results yourself. So we have a pretty good variety of experience level when it comes to AI, which is really nice because today's session is going to cover all sorts of levels. We're going to talk about some things that are very fit for beginner levels, and we're going to also mention a few things that are really good for those of you who are already quite advanced. All right, so wait, I'm going to get the poll out of the way. Sorry. Okay. So what we'll be covering today, we're going to talk about why AI is perfect for small business owners, especially small business owners. We're going to get started with ChatGPT. It is going to be the tool we're going to focus on today. We're going to give you some tips for getting better AI results, using AI to solve common business challenges, and we're going to show you hands-on prompts that you can actually use yourself and examples of what ChatGPT is going to give us. And as always, we're going to have time at the end for Q&A. So write your questions in the chat and we're going to have some time at the end to go over them. Okay.
All right. So let's talk about why AI is actually a great fit for small business owners like most of us here today. So first of all, it's very simple to use. You don't need to be a tech expert. Basically, if you can type a sentence, you can use AI. Just tell what you need, and it helps you get it done. The next thing is that it is super affordable. A lot of the tools are completely free or have like flexible pricing plans that let you pay as you go. And also, there's no need to hire anyone or to set up anything complicated to implement the tool. And finally, and this one's really big, it is a huge time saver. And if you're running a one-person show or juggling a full-time job with your own side hustle, you know that time is your most limited resource. And I know a lot of you is struggling with this. So AI helps take some of that weight off your shoulder because it can handle the repetitive or time-consuming stuff like answering common customer questions or drafting emails or writing social media posts. And when you can save just a few hours every week, that really, really adds up. and gives you a lot more time to focus on your business growth. So now that we know why AI is such a great fit, let's talk about where do we start. And there's a bunch of AI tools out there, but today we're going to focus on the one that's most beginner friendly and most popular, I think, and that's ChatGPT.
Yes. So, what is ChatGPT? I'm sure most of you have already used ChatGPT at least once, but just so that we're all settled and are on the same page, ChatGPT is your smart AI assistant that is created by a company called OpenAI. Its main point is to help you write, plan, brainstorm, and answer any question that you can think about just by typing it in. So basically, how it works is you type a question, idea, maybe a task you want help with. It's basically like messaging any person. It reads your prompts and then generates a type of response based on what it's learned from books, websites, the internet, basically any content that it can learn from. And it's important to mention that the more clear and specific you are in your prompts, the better results it will give you. Some things to keep in mind when using ChatGPT is that not all versions, it depends whether you have the free version or some of the paid bots, not all of them can browse the internet live. So if you're looking to use for some really factual live information, maybe some statistical information, it won't always be live browsed. And that brings me to my next point. If you do want to use something or post some factual information, it's always important to double fact check yourself when it comes to ChatGPT because it might not always give you the most accurate answers since it won't always be accurate. But double checking is important, especially when it comes to legal or official documents. All right, so some things that we can get done with AI. And all of these things, we're going to try to do our best to show you as many examples as possible because there's so much that it can help us with. But these are just the main pillars of what we like to use AI for. When it comes to your plan and strategy, ChatGPT is amazing when it comes to researching different types of ideas, or maybe you want to do a market search or learn anything else about your business, even building a business plan or researching your pricing options. When it comes to brand and communication, it is a great tool to create any product descriptions that maybe you want to use for your website or you want to create the entire copy for your website. ChatGPT is really, really good with that to help you sound as professional as possible. Maybe you want to set a new tone of voice for your brand and create some new guidelines. It's great for that. In terms of operational tasks, ChatGPT can really help us outline some documents that we want to use with our business or contracts. Again, we need to be careful here when it comes to the to legal documents, but it's a really great helper when it comes to that. And with creative and design, today ChatGPT is also really amazing at actually designing photos and logos or doing some mock-ups of some of your products. It's really, really cool what we can do with it today.
All right, so let's say you're ready to try it out. How does it actually work? Well, super simple. Step one, as easy as it gets, type in a question into the box. In this example, I type, what is the one best tip you can give a business owner? Step two, you get your answer. In this case, ChatGPT gave a super useful tip, know your customer better than anyone else. And then it broke it down for why it matters, how to actually do it. From there on, you can ask follow-up questions just like you would in a regular conversation.
All right, so before we dive deep into our examples, we're going to show you some tips on how to get the best AI responses with ChatGPT. So, as we mentioned, the more clear and specific you are in your prompts, the better your results will be. So, some things to keep in mind is to make sure that you're always clear you want to try to ask for exactly what you want and try to avoid any vague or open-ended prompts. For example, if you just write a blog post, that's a very, very general prompt. If we want something more specific, we can actually write to ChatGPT, I want a 200-word blog post on a specific topic. Try to mention one, two, and three. Um, we can go on and have the prompt be as clear and specific as possible. Next, we want to try to give context. That means sharing who we are, what we do. Oh, you can't see the screen. Sorry. Okay, one second. Is this better now? Okay. So we want to give context. That means who we are, what we do. Um, we're going to show you some examples in terms of business, how to do that. You want to always explain what your business is, what you do before you give the prompt so that the answer is actually based on your business description. You want to add examples. For example, if you see something that you really liked or connected with, it's always good to give as much examples as possible. And ask for edits. Feel free to tell ChatGPT to make something shorter, make it longer, make it friendlier, make it look more professional. The more edits you can ask for it, you can adjust it until it's perfect for what you're looking for. And the most important thing is to build a back and forth conversation. It's not just a one-time search. It's not like searching Google and getting one result. You can always go back and forth, improve your prompts, make it better, have a conversation with ChatGPT. It can go to so many places.
Exactly. So, okay, let's dive in. Um, the use case we're going to use for today's examples is a bakery specializing in cupcakes. So meet Andy's Magical Cupcakes. Before you start asking ChatGPT for help with your business, it is really useful to give it a little background. For our example, we listed a few key things about Andy's Magical Cupcakes, um, the business name, what I sell, what my goal is, who is my ideal customer, my preferred tone of voice, and what I mostly need help with right now. And here's the trick. Every time you ask a question or want advice about your business, start with this description. Just copy and paste it into your prompt. So the AI gets context about who you are and gives answer that actually fit you and your business.
All right, so we're going to dive into our real prompt examples. Um, Based on the previous slide that we showed of the different options and possibilities we can do with ChatGPT, we're going to try to give you as many examples as possible. So the business that Tal presented, we're going to use that as as an example throughout the entire presentation. So the first example we want to show you is using ChatGPT to find and connect with customers. So this can help us better understand who we're selling to and how we can reach out to them in a better way. So based on my business description, which is what we just saw, who should be my target audience? And based on that, what marketing tools should I use and how can I create the most engagement with them? And here is what ChatGPT gave us. We have a super clear and in-depth explanation of our target audience, which is really, really important for every business owner to know. And based on this, I want to know exactly what kind of marketing tools and marketing strategies I can use on that specific audience. Depending on the audience of your business, you might want to use different marketing tactics, and ChatGPT is really good with making that fit for you. All right, and that brings us to creating social content ideas with ChatGPT. It's a great, great, great brainstorming tools if you need ideas for some new posts or maybe you want to plan campaigns. And for example, here for Andy's Cupcakes, we want help planning 4 weeks of Instagram content, which will include post ideas, captions, or any other suggestions for images. And here we have a very, very planned out 4-week plan. It's cut off because there were too many ideas. But it can really tell us exactly what we should post, even the type of caption we should use. And we can even go even more into depth and get better results by maybe we want to mention any upcoming holidays that we want to promote on our social media. Maybe we want to try a different tone of voice. Maybe I want something similar, but not for Instagram. I want something for TikTok, which can be totally different ideas. There's really endless possibilities when it comes to planning your social media and using ChatGPT to do that.
Okay, so now let's talk about how AI can help you build your website, for example. Let's say that I'm not sure what content I should prepare for my website. So, a great starting point can be this prompt. What are the most important pages or sections I should include on my website to attract and convert customers? So as you can see, ChatGPT gives us a detailed list of relevant pages to our business website with key elements that we should include in each suggested page. For example, the homepage should have an eye-catching hero image, a tagline, a call to action button, flavors preview, reviews, and an Instagram feed. From here, we can take it to the next step and ask ChatGPT what it needs to know in order to write the actual content for each page. For example, let's say we want to write an about page. So ChatGPT will lay out all the information it needs in order to write the page for us, give it the details that it needs, and you'll get an amazing About Us page in no time. Click. Yeah. So you can then make tweaks and revise the tone if you like, or any other edit until you reach your desired outcome. But the bottom line is you can get from idea to finalize content in no time. Amazing work.
Yes, I loved this. If you guys have a chance in the recording to read this, it is just beautiful.
Okay.
All right, next up, sorry, the toolbar is hiding my screen. Okay, we're going to see how we can create business templates using ChatGPT. So it can help us with drafting any type of customizable template that we can use for our business operations. So, for example, I want ChatGPT to help me create an order agreement template that I can send to any of my new customers. And before I continue, it's just important to mention again that while ChatGPT can help us create basic customizable templates, it is not a substitute for professional legal advice. So if you need to draft up any type of really super important official contract, we recommend consulting with a legal advisor. All right, so here is the result that I got from ChatGPT for the order agreement that I can send to customers. This will include what their name is, if there is an event date, any kind of fill in the blanks that is super important for any type of business that is creating orders and needs to track payments and obviously delivery if it's relevant. And this, again, we can also adjust as needed. And one more really cool thing when it comes to business templates is that ChatGPT is also really good at summarizing documents. So if you have something really long that you need to read for your business, you can upload it into ChatGPT and it will give you a really, really clear summarization of what is mentioned.
Okay, so let's shift gears for a moment and talk about something that isn't always fun, but it's definitely important, the money stuff. So, when it comes to tracking expenses or getting ready for tax season, you might not feel totally confident, or maybe you're just not sure what even counts as a deductible business expense, and that's completely normal. But AI can help you make sense of all of that. So in this example, I asked ChatGPT what expenses can be deducted for tax returns. So this is the kind of response you might get back from ChatGPT, and I think it's super useful. It doesn't just give us a list. It really organized it to the potential deductions into clear categories like cost of goods sold, equipment and tools, and even home office expenses. And it gave real examples based on the kind of business you run. The value here isn't just about the info, it's the clarity. It helps you understand what each category actually means and how it applies to you. Now, of course, this isn't a replacement for a real accountant, especially for doing your taxes, but it is a great first step. And it helps you feel more informed and more prepared, and maybe even uncover a few deductibles that you didn't even realize were valid.
Yes, definitely.
And another thing that is very, very common, that's a very, very common question among the business owners in our community here is, am I charging the right amount? And I agree that pricing can feel confusing, especially when you're trying to balance your costs and your time and understanding what customers are actually willing to pay for your products or services. So in this example, we've asked ChatGPT to act as an accountant and break down the pricing process for us based on information that we will provide. And here's an example of what ChatGPT might come back with. So it walks you through step by step, starting with your cost of goods, ingredients, packaging, supplies, for our example, and then helping you think about labor, overhead, and even your time. So this kind of breakdown is incredibly useful, especially if you've never really sat down to run the numbers before. And it's a low pressure way to build a pricing plan. Even it's not going to be your final pricing strategy that you choose to go with. It's a great first step. It really opens your mind and allows you to just start with something. It makes it a lot easier.
Mhm. Okay, next up is, sorry. Okay, you can see my screen, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Business research and strategy with AI. This is a super, super important step, I think, for every business owner. I just want to mention that some of the things that we're going to show might not be available on all of the free versions of ChatGPT. Some are available on the paid versions, but they should go from about $20 a month, and then there's obviously the more expensive plans. So it really depends what your goals are. But something really, really interesting is the deep research feature that ChatGPT offers today, which is really an option to go super into depth on live web pages, and it really searches the whole wide web for something specific that you need. So in terms of business research, we want to ask ChatGPT to act as a business strategist. I want to grow my cupcake business. Please research current market trends, any customer expectations, competitor tactics, and suggest a 3-month strategy plan that I can follow. Hiring an external business strategist to do this for us can be a very, very pricey job, and ChatGPT can really help us with getting amazing results. Um, so here's just the table of contents of what ChatGPT offered us. There was a whole report that included all of this information that we asked for. So just by taking a look of the table of contents, you can see how really in depth it went. So obviously first going into a business overview, um, and then into current market trends in California, because that is where our business is located. Um, Health conscious and customization demands. It goes into different topics such as dietary inclusivity and a lot of topics that I wouldn't have thought about myself if it wasn't for ChatGPT. And each topic has really like a um, full explanation. competitor tactics. It will talk about social media and really, really interesting stuff. And there's even more content that it gave us. The whole part of the 3 month strategy plan was also super, super interesting. So there's really endless possibilities when it comes to getting some of that more wide research. And we wanted to show some more examples. Oh, sorry. Okay. So some other things we can do with the research part of ChatGPT is maybe we want to know how much similar bakeries in the same state that I am charge for about the same service. So here we can see that it really did a nice research of other companies that are similar to mine and how much they charge for the same service that I do. It will give me a good understanding of where I am located based on my pricing research. And maybe I also want to study what types of cupcakes are trending for the upcoming summer season because I want to stay on trend and lead the social media game. And it really gave me some really cool ideas that are happening today that maybe I was unaware of. So very, very cool.
So cool. And now I want to talk to you about a different way to use AI. So not for content or planning or research that we just covered, but for reflection or problem solving. So sometimes you just need to talk through an idea or sort out what's not working or get a little perspective. And with the right prompt, you can actually use ChatGPT to help you work through those stuck moments. So here's an example of a prompt that I used. I've set up my LLC, EIN, website, and product offering, but I'm still struggling to get new customers. I feel stuck and I'm getting discouraged. So I love this approach ChatGPT took here because it starts by reframing where you are. It reminds you you're not behind, you're at a tipping point, you've already done the hard setup. And then it walks you through some of the common blocks that might be slowing things down, like low visibility, no urgency. And even just seeing that list can spark an aha moment that would take you out of this stuck feeling. Um, if you like what it suggested, you can also follow up with asking it to create, for example, a 30-day plan that you can put to action. So here's an example of what ChatGPT created for our cupcake business. So each week, it focused on one small, doable task, practical, meets you where you are, and helps you move forward without the burnout feeling.
Mhm. Very, very useful. And I love the practical ideas. Okay, next up is designing and branding with ChatGPT. We can use ChatGPT to brainstorm visual branding elements or ideas and actually create some of that visual ideas and bring them to life. So, in this prompt, I wanted to actually design a logo for our cupcake business. And you can use this prompt and customize it as you want. Um, it talks about visual preferences. So, for example, if you have any type of colors that you're using for your brand that you want them to appear in your logo, maybe some type of symbols that resonate with your brand, any type of idea that you want to use, any format or use case where you want this logo to appear. So, for example, if it's for your website, maybe you want to use it for packaging materials, anything that you need, and give it any type of other instructions that also here, the more information you give ChatGPT, the more it'll be fit for what you're looking for. So here is our logo.
Amazing.
This is complete AI. ChatGPT created this logo for us. And feel free to attach also if you have any images of examples that you wanted to maybe use as inspiration or reference. That's also really important. And you can also ask for different versions of this. You can type that you want the same thing in black and white, or maybe you want to have the same thing just with a transparent background, and it can create it for you and generate it on the spot. All right, so we're going to sum up what we discussed today. So we hope that now you feel that AI is your new business partner. AI is here to help you. It's not here to replace us, it's here to work with us. We want to use it to help us with our writing, planning, learning, brainstorm, anything that can make our business look more professional and just be able to elevate it a couple levels. Again, you don't need tech skills. I think that is such a great um, option for anyone who doesn't have that background. All you have to do is type. Um, Here you can see some of the examples that we talked about with what ChatGPT can help us. And there's also so much more that you can use it for. Again, the better your prompts are, the better your results will be. You want to be as clear as possible, give as much context, and really build that conversation. It's also really important to mention that AI and also ChatGPT, it's always evolving, it's always improving more. So there's a good chance that the next time we're going to do this session, we're going to mention a few things that maybe we're not even aware of today because they don't exist yet. So it's really, really cool how everything is always evolving. And the best thing is that once you learn how to use AI, you will never feel alone with your business. Learn it, experience with it, play around with it. We're always here for questions. Learn how to let it take things off your plate. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. We really hope that this session was as educational and valuable for you, and that you will really be able to use these prompts towards your business and see some really, really cool responses and use them. We're going to attach the checklist in tomorrow's email along with a recording of the session. So we look forward to seeing you next month. Um, Thanks again.